The Lion's Gate Portal. On 8/8, the veil separating the worlds of spirits and humans is thinnest, a date when the alignments of the Sun, Sirius, Orion's Belt, and Earth marked for the ancient Egyptians the Galactic New Year, when the flooding of the Nile fed the land, bringing rebirth to both the land and the spirit, a period of renewed abundance to break free from old habits and spiritual judgment. For the Egyptians, Sirius was the spiritual sun, feeding the spirit of man. Rising strong in the eastern horizon at dawn, before the sun, meant for them the start of the new year. Taking place exactly on July 28th, per our modern-day calendars, the sighting of Sirius, one of the brightest stars in the heavens, prior to the sunrise, signaled the coming of higher vibrational energy and spiritual frequencies that would dispel the illusory world of man. Illuminated by the sun, the world of man and matter cannot be judged by what is on the surface. While the sun feeds and gives life to the physical body, Sirius feeds and gives life to the spiritual body. As it is Sirius that rises first, it is the spiritual body that also gets fed first, before the physical body. When the spiritual consciousness of the soul is weighed against the body, and as one sowed in spirit, so shall their physical body now reap. These galactic energies and higher vibrational frequencies entering the spirit reach their peak on 8/8. At this time, the sun and illuminator of the physical world of illusion begins to enter the sign of Leo, which it rules. At this exact moment, the sun is also halfway through his run of the zodiac, and exactly halfway through the summer solstice of June and autumn equinox of September. For all of humanity, it is when the soul is thrown into the lion's den, when the weight of the soul must confront the beast and accept the judgment of the lion's mouth. Depending on how one fares, either be saved by the innocence and harmless purity of their spirit, or be cast into the lion's den, and before they reach the bottom, be overpowered and crushed by the lions. How to save yourself and best take advantage of the portal. With the spirit exposed for all the world to see, 8/8 marks the time to be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. In fact, the number 8 is the numerical allegory for the fang of the serpent, which symbolizes higher wisdom, which is highest when Sirius is strong in the sky. 2 8s, like in the date 8/8, is the number coding for DNA activation, making 8/8 the perfect time for reactivating the memory of ourselves in order to rebuild DNA and the body back to harmonious alignment, restructuring it back to restored health. On 8/8, everyone will receive exactly what they deserve in body, but not necessarily in spirit. 8 is also the numerical allegory of the material plane, but not the spiritual, giving everyone leeway in how they alleviate physical suffering, especially with Sirius opening the gateway to heaven, as their rising before the sun diminishes the illusory world of form and matter, opening not only the galactic gates to heaven above, but also inside the body, specifically through the 7 energy centers of the body that act as portals for the energy of higher vibrational frequencies. 8/8 and the rising of Sirius mark a period of spiritual rebirth. So, while the physical body will reap the last year's judgment, the spirit can start to sow a new and better judgment to come the next year. Saturn will be the judge of that, as he always is, for he is also the ruler of the number 8, alongside the zodiacal sign of Leo. Together, Saturn and Leo will see to it that, as one sows, so shall they reap. While everyone will reap what they sowed this last year on 8/8, Saturn promises that with discipline and concrete achievement of innocence and harmless purity, paired with the bold heart of the lion, wisdom of the serpent, and innocence of the dove, better rewards and judgment will come this time next year. In the body, the bridge between spiritual rebirth and the physical judgment is DNA. DNA is made of crystal structures formed by water molecules that capture and emit light. Thinking of Dr. Emoto's water experiment, where water crystals took forms shaped by intentions, the physical body of DNA takes the forms shaped by the intentions of the spirit, which Saturn then makes a judgment upon. Saturn is also the living Hebrew God, the God who saved Daniel, and of Jesus himself, who spoke Aramaic. In his native tongue of Aramaic, Jesus called God by the name of Allah. The words Christ and Allah combined form and are the basis of the word Christos, the very makeup of human DNA, making DNA where the veil between spirit and matter is thinnest at the human level, the most susceptible to judgment, and the human access point of the 8/8 gateway to heaven. How to access the gateway to heaven via DNA. The best way, and truly the only way, to access the human gateway to heaven through DNA is meditation. In meditation, the veil between the 2D spirit and 3D body actually disappears entirely, and the true and singular access point for DNA is reached. the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind controls and directs the vital forces and higher vibrational energy and spiritual frequencies the body receives. It is through control of the fertile and passive subconscious that one attains conscious dominion of the world and the lion's den. It is through a gentle dominion with the bold heart of the lion, the wisdom of the serpent, and innocence of the dove, the material plane is sublimated and brought under one's control. A gentle dominion through spiritual power and sublime discipline is how one conquers the lion's den and saves themselves, not brute force and an aggressive course of action. With these powers at hand, in the sky and in oneself, 8/8 is the perfect time to manifest. The secret to how to manifest and how manifestation works. Any desire one has sets up a chain reaction starting in the subconscious mind. Through focus and repetition of that focus on the desire, that desire eventually results in manifestation. The chain reaction from the subconscious mind to the manifested material plane of 8 takes the desire through the energy centers or galactic portals within the body, the chakras, of which there are 8 steps total, starting with the fang of the serpent of the human body itself, the coccyx. Each step of the way, the desire must pass the human lion's den, where every one of the chakras is a mouth of a lion, and judgment. Only when the desire has proven to be innocent and pure of harm can it pass to the next. When the desire is accomplished and successfully passes the 8 steps total, it manifests, and one attains mastery over the material plane and graduates from the vertical 8 of Saturn and Leo's mortal judgment to the horizontal symbol of infinity, which signifies the spiritual plane of the lemnicate of eternal bliss and dominion over the material plane, becoming in oneself the convergence of both the spiritual and material, the human gateway to heaven, the living and breathing Lionsgate portal. Conclusion. So, how does it feel to know that whatever your judgment, you can still be saved? That whatever you have sown and will reap this year, no matter how awful or horrible, you can still be saved, starting anew, right here, right now. That you are, in the eyes of God, never a lost hope. That God loves you and sees in you only the best, which is why every year on 8/8, you are given a new chance, not so He can redeem you necessarily, but so that you can. That you have already all the power you need, all the power, all the love. that all of this constant reopening of his pearly gates to heaven are opened again and again, and will always remain open to you, because the challenge is not to be perfect. No, the real and only challenge is never losing hope in yourself to match his love for you, which is unconditional and a lot, and not as the material world asks of you, but as he made you. That the only real challenge is to trust and believe that it is okay to be you, the most beautiful you there ever was, there is, and that there ever will be, because you are not a story that can be told twice, and there will never again be a stage for you to perform, but this one, right here, right now. So be you, the most beautiful you.